Oh, there we go. Pick is in. It's not defense. It's
Ooh.
not defense.
McMillan?
Wide receiver, Tetairoa McMillan to the Carolina Panthers. So this is my take on this, Sam, is when you're stacking up Jalen Walker, Mike Green, James Pierce, Michael Williams, they wanted an edge rusher. No one ticked every box. No one ticked every box of high-end production, high-end athleticism, size. Size is a big issue for, I think, teams with this edge rush class. And this ended up being the safest, cleanest. You're going to get a good football player at a valuable position in Tetairoa McMillan. And it's a weapon for Bryce Young. And that's where they're going. And look, defense doesn't matter per Eric. Why would they take a defensive player? Just go offense, baby.
This is interesting because on the one hand, I don't love Tetairoa McMillan as a prospect. Like I don't think he's worth a top 10 draft pick in a vacuum, or, I think Travis Hunter is the best wide receiver in this draft. But, and the Panthers are in an interesting sort of situation because they have last year's former first round pick, Xavier Legette, didn't have a good rookie season at all. It's like, well, do we give up on him after a year? What do we do here? Now, I do think that McMillan and Legette can coexist within the same offense and not, it's not redundant, right? We haven't kicked Legette out of the game plan and McMillan now assumes that role of the number one guy. They can definitely coexist within the same system. McMillan played quite a lot in the slot. Like he's been moved around in that offense in Arizona and is successful, moving around, and actually might not be the sort of traditional X wide receiver that wins on the boundary the way everybody's assuming, kind of the way Drake London had his best season when he was moved into the slot more, right? And actually sort of taken away from those. But I think McMillan's good, right? He's got good long speed. Like he ran a 4.5 something. I don't care. Like he's able to run away from people. I'm not concerned about his speed. 6'5", 210 plus pounds, 20% of his snaps ish in the slots. And he's got a lot more wiggle in his route running. And I was impressed with him after the catch, even if his after the catch numbers aren't great. Like I don't think he's the player that people imagine when they think 6'5", 215-pound receiver, and he gets comped to Drake London a lot. And I don't think he's that type of player at all. But I do think he can do damage within this offense. And who was it a few years ago where they were like assembling every wide receiver they brought in was 6'5"? All of a sudden, Carolina is assembling a receiving core of giants for Bryce Young to throw to.
The David Garrard Jaguars did that for a while. That was Reggie Williams was 6'4", Matt Jones was 6'5", Ernest Wilford was 6'4", and they had Mercedes Lewis as 6'6" tight end. Right. That was the first team that I could think of. They were just pure monsters.
The Chargers had a giant receiving core for a few years as well.
Vincent Jackson and Michael Floyd on the outside.
Yeah.
So you're talking, I love this for the Panthers. Tetairoa McMillan, because I don't think Xavier Legette's all that good. But I think what he's good at, he's not a good polished receiver, and he wasn't coming out. But what he's good at is he can create some explosives. He's pretty good after the catch, Legette, and every now and again he'll create a mismatch. The number of times I just wrote down good in Tetairoa McMillan's notes, in my notes on him, good route runner, sinks his hips for a big guy, very good hands, good in contested situations, good after the catch. He's just a good receiver. He's not as dynamic as Malik Neighbors or Brian Thomas Jr. from last year. He's not as straight up fast as some of those other guys. He's not as good after the catch, but he's good at everything. I think he's going to be a good receiver at the next level. So you got Tetairoa McMillan. You got Thielen still there as your veteran. Thielen Coker is one of the better undrafted free agent receivers that we've seen recently, if he could build on that. And Xavier Legette takes a little pressure off last year's number 32 pick, Legette.
And actually, so you're right. Look, Xavier Legette has not had a good start to his NFL career. The thing, though, that he should be able to do, even if he remains a limited receiver with a narrow skill set, is the DK Metcalf spectrum of you are big, fast, and explosive. Just torch the dude down the sideline, right? Like just play that X receiver stuff and just go vertical and scare them. He can do that. Like he can run by a guy down the sideline on a 9 route and just terrify them. And I don't think that that's McMillan's skill set. Like, I think that's actually what he's not great at. Ben Stockwell of PFF, when he first started diving into the draft, like 3 days ago, Ben got to it late this year. He was sending me all these plays where 6'5", 210+ pound Tetairoa McMillan is getting like mushed off the screen in press coverage, like just driven off the field. That shouldn't be happening for a guy that wants to play like X wide receiver. So in a way, I don't think he is that. I think he's actually going to end up being they're going to have a weird receiving core, but a good one, I think. McMillan is a good receiver. He just might not be that X that everybody's looking for. Liggett might not be a good receiver, but he can be that X.
I mean, you keep saying he's not like Drake London, McMillan. Maybe not in style, but I think the results are going to be there, right? He's going to make contested catches. You might put him in the slot a bunch where Drake London is a mismatch. He can win on the outside against off coverage. I think there are a lot of similarities to London as far as how there is a high-end uber possession receiver. I think that is what you're getting in Tetairoa and McMillan. My question on McMillan are the bad plays, the press plays, the plays where he looks like he's not even running, the plays where he's getting bossed halfway through a deep ball and getting knocked off his route. There's certain, like, Utah game stood out. He was just off, and I would want to know, like, why were you so far off your game a few weeks out of the season?
Yeah, this is all why I think he's good, not great, right? But I do think he's a good player, and I actually quite like the fit schematically with this Panthers team, and particularly, like, if Bryce Young continues playing the way he was playing to end last season, I mean, this could be a really good offense really quickly, because that offensive line is legit. The running game is legit. All of a sudden, if he's got some receivers to play with, and remember, like, Coker should be getting a year, better, a year older. Jatavian Sanders, who they drafted a tight end last year, could be, better and more impactful next year. Like, this could be a really good offense pretty quickly. The other thing we have to bring up is we have a first correct bet of the draft. Mike the Thrill said the Panthers will go offense round 1.
Oh, he got it. And all we talked about was defense for the Panthers because that pass rush was so bad. Saints are up on the clock, and the Saints pick. This was the first one where we could see, was this Shedeur Sanders?
Oh, apparently we didn't accept that one. We just monitored it.
Oh, monitored. He's right. Good job. Give him a shout out.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how many T-shirts we owe people. Maybe we'll accept it posthumously of the draft.
We'll see. You never know. Keep taking shots.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of our video.
For more great content, click here to subscribe and here to watch another video. We'll see you again soon.